Hey everybody, and good morning, and welcome to another Q&A. I'm Tom Vasel, and I am talking to you all here on Tuesday rather than Monday, because yesterday here in America was Memorial Day, and so we had the day off here in the Dice Tower Studios, but we are back with a vengeance. Last week I was at Board Game Geek Spring, and so I had a good time there. If I saw you there, thanks for saying hi, and I had a fantastic time. This coming weekend is the big Game Bash in Fort Myers, so be playing some games there. And other announcements that we have here. Today we're launching something new called Dice Tower District. And this is kind of a soft launch. We're going to have even more information about it as time goes by. But Dice Tower District is going to be a place where you can buy and sell board games. Now, I wanted to start this for a couple of reasons. I think that this back and forth, being able to sell to other people, the district people contacted me. I thought it was a neat setup, and so we're using it. Yes, the percentage of the sales do go to Dice Tower. It helps support the Dice Tower. So I want to be upfront about that. But this is a really safe, simple, secure commerce system that uses, there's not a lot of places to go buy games from other people right now, or at least an easy way to do that. So it's the fastest way. You can list things for sale there. It accepts payments from all major credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, etc. Right now it is U.S. only, although and I believe Canada too. It is definitely, they're working on including other people in, but there's a lot of legalities in PayPal, stuff like that behind the scenes. So there's also protection for the buyers and sellers. That's something that I'm always worried about. The listings are SEO optimized so that they're indexed on Google so that people will be able to come in there. And you can even do like live stuff there. You can do a live audio or like a live auction if you want to. There's all sorts of things that you can do. And we're going to talk more about this. And as this week goes by, we're going to make a video that shows you how to use this. This is, again, it's Dice Tower District. We'll have links and stuff. We're going to be pushing this more. There's already some listings up there of the games that people can buy. And even here from the Dice Tower, we'll occasionally drop some stuff off in there that you'll be able to get from us here. Luke put the link there in the chat so you can check it out, and hopefully it will grow and get more exciting as time goes by. So, questions, that's what this time is for. So if you have questions and different things to talk about, go ahead and ask them in the chat, and I will do my best to talk about them. I'm excited. We are a little less than a month away from Dice Tower East, which has sold out, but I'm very excited about doing that. We are 2 months away from Gen Con. We just got word from Gen Con. Our booth is going to be much larger this year. So we have a lot of fun, interesting things that we're going to do there, and I really look forward to that. So we hope to see you at Gen Con, and of course the Dice Tower Awards show will be at Gen Con. And then we're 2 weeks away from the Summer Spectacular. We're going to have the finishing up the top 100 games of all time. We're going to have special guests from the World Series of Board Gaming coming in to play games with us. We are having, we're going to announce the Dice Tower Award nominations for this year. We are going to be playing a bunch of really cool new games, and we're going to be announcing what those games are very soon, working on the final schedules for this now. So, all right, let's get to questions. What happened to your daily game unboxing? I always found those really useful in helping me with my game purchasing decisions. We found that people didn't really like the daily game unboxings that much, as people just didn't want to watch them. And so we switched them to short reviews, which kind of shows you everything in the box anyway. Is there a color combination of hat, shirt, glasses you won't wear? That sounds like a an accusation. Sure, I try to make stuff match if I can. It doesn't always, of course. Have I played Perspectives yet? I have not, and in fact, I didn't know that Perspectives was not out, was even out. I saw a copy of it at BGG Spring, and I was like, huh, I didn't know that. So I'm going to try to get it played at some point. Did me or any of the crew buy the Vantage metal coins? I don't know. You'll have to give me a little bit more information. I'm not sure talking about that. Are any upcoming 4 Coins episodes planned? Yes. They're a little bit on the back burner, and don't get worried about that because we're going to do a bunch of them. I really like doing that, so it's going to happen. It's because the top 100 lists are going on right now, so that's kind of taking the forefront. We've also made a change here at Dice Tower, which you'll see as time goes by, that I'm attempting. I think what people like the most about the Dice Tower is our top 10 lists. So we're going to do more of those. You saw we did one last week, our top 10 games from 2024. I'm excited about that. This week, tomorrow, we're doing our top 10 games for a Magic player, for a Magic the Gathering player. And then next week, I think we're doing our top 10 adventure games. So lots of different games coming, top 10 lists coming your way. But the 4 Coin stuff is back. I just bought a book for that. I'm always looking for, resources and stuff. So more RPG stuff coming your way soon. Are we passing on packs again this year? Yes. The reason that we pass on packs is threefold, really, but it all comes down to the same reason, which is it's just a bad time of year. We have the Dice Tower Cruise, which is early January. We have the Dice Tower Kickstarter, which is in January. We have Christmas, which is in December. And those 3 things are all pretty important to us here. And PAX just really and then we have Essen, which we go to. So we see a lot of the games that would be at PAX. We love Philadelphia. We like the people there. PAX would be great. But it's hard to justify all the costs, and then time involved with it. About to play my first game of Thunder Road Vendetta tomorrow. What flavor of Chrome food spray would you recommend to witness me? Well, whatever flavor I used was not particularly delicious. I remember that. It's funny, I was just last night, my older kids, my daughter just graduated college, so she's home for a month before she heads off to her job. So I showed them Mad Max, Fury Road. They never saw it before. And so that was funny. Then I'm telling them about the food spray thing. Witness me. What a great game. Let's see. Hey, Tom, I noticed you started to take my glasses trend. Well, there's a slight difference here, and let me explain to you. I need these. I need glasses, unfortunately, so I have to wear glasses. I am mind-boggled, and it's not a bad thing. It's kind of like a back in my day, but it just blows my mind nowadays that kids, and yes, I'm calling you kids wear glasses when they don't have to. And when I was a kid, as Gen Xers, it was very much, you were mocked. I've not in the past 20 years heard the term 4 eyes, but that was like a thing. You got made fun of if you wore glasses. And that's no longer a thing. Now kids will wear glasses frames when they don't have to. So, yeah, okay. It's just a change. Oh, the Vantage coins for the Stonemaier game. That's right, for their upcoming game. Yeah, I need to get to work on. I do want to look at those. I was definitely interested in that. Thank you for clarifying. I'm certainly interested in those. I haven't bought any yet. Any more information or thoughts about using the van to take a road trip and visit game stores, local cons on the East Coast? Sure, it's still in the background of my mind. I haven't had many stores contact me about it. I'm still trying to think. It would be a tricky thing to set up, but who knows? Which games did you play today? It is 10 a.m. in the morning. I've played no games this morning. I've been busy getting ready for the day to go. You have said that Primal would have been a 10 if not for the box size. Are there some games that were rated higher because the box was smaller? No, again, that's just specifically for that game. I love that game. I think Primal's amazing, but I mean, I thought it was just the box is so big it's just difficult to carry around. I always feel that about boxes. I think that you could argue that there are games that I played before. I'm like, man, I wish these were bigger. Many DeVere games, I wish the boxes were slightly bigger. I wish the boards were slightly bigger. I'm a big medium board game guy. What would you say is the difference between an adventure game and a dungeon crawler? An adventure game is a game where you go on an adventure that's not in a dungeon. And that's not necessarily true because dungeon games are particularly a subclass of adventure game. But since we already did dungeon games, I'm excluding them from this upcoming list. Did you see Furiosa yet? No, but that's one of the reasons we watched this. Do I plan to see it in the theater? I see so few movies in the theater. It's pretty expensive and it saves me money by not going. Have you watched any of the new series of Doctor Who? No, I watched the Christmas specials when David Tennant came back, and then I watched the first one with the new Doctor. And then I watched, the Goblins one, and it was okay. I don't know that I love the new Doctor. I don't know. The whole thing just felt slightly different and tonally to me. And then I just haven't got around to watching the other ones. But I also haven't had a super desire. I still haven't seen half the last season of Doctor Who. Doctor Who is just, for me as a whole, has kind of faded off. I used to really, really like it. And I still think the David Tennant stuff and Matt Smith stuff is amazing. But yeah, it's not, I don't know. I'm not like hating on Doctor Who. I'm just kind of like, meh. That's where I'm at. Any game you hope gets the restoration game streaming? This should go on my list of things we're asked all the time. I'm sure there's stuff. How about they need to redo Crossfire? How's that? That's my answer for today. When you ended the Dice Tower podcast, you mentioned feelings of burnout doing the same thing for song. I realize the new show with Julie is very similar to the original. Care to share any thoughts? I don't think it's actually very similar at all. There's no top 10 list in it. In fact, the only thing that's similar is that we do Tales of Horror sometimes, but there's really there's nothing else that's really the same about it. Like everything in it is kind of a different thing. So I don't know. And having a third voice, and also the time we record it in the mornings now rather than at night. As dumb as that is, that just helps me out a lot on that show. Huh, that's interesting. I haven't heard many people say that they're similar. I thought they were very different. Thoughts on Dicebreaker being acquired? Well, I'm looking up Dicebreaker now. Well, I don't see anything on their website about it. I'll click news. Maybe it's under news. Okay, I'll write Dicebreaker acquired here. Oh, they were bought by IGN. Huh, okay. So they were bought by IGN. I don't really have any strong feelings on it in general. But that's because I didn't think Dicebreaker was a place that I was really, I didn't go there much for news anyway. They write about stuff, but they kind of just pick stuff to write about. They don't cover like tons and tons of news. So they mention news, but I don't know. It just doesn't, there's just not a lot of, I don't know. I just didn't find them. They pick and choose their stories, which I guess is fine, but that's not what I go to for news site. I want to go to find out about all the news. We do news on our show, and we talk about a lot of stuff. But Eric Martin from Board Game Geek does news, and I go there to check out news. Reddit has a pretty decent news sometimes. And so, That they also cover lots of like controversial stuff, and I have almost no interest in that sort of thing. So, what have you? All right, let's see, where are we at? But I don't have any other thoughts on that. The Dice Tower is not being acquired by IGN, so no one's ever offered. Oh, I missed this one. Do you prefer minis, meeples, or standees? All depends on the game, really. The family and I are heading to our first Dice Tower East. How's the weather in that part of Florida if we want to go out and visit the area? It's going to be hot. It's going to be smoking hot. So keep that in mind. If you're not sure where to go that week, I always recommend a water park because water parks are fantastic and fun and the heat doesn't bother you. Be cautious if you're going to go to Disney or other ones because they are hot, although they have a lot of indoor rides and stuff, so that helps offset that to some degree. So that's kind of my shtick there. I'm just saying, hey, just realize it's going to be super hot. But there are things that you can go and do inside. There are lots of things to go and do inside, so I would just consider that. Tuesday is $5 movie night at the Regal Lifesaver. Well, not when you have 6 people in your family. It's still $30, and someone's going to want popcorn, and so it's still not cheap. It's still not as cheap as just watching it at home. Where did you get all your cool new glasses frames? I got it from, I think it's called Pear Eyewear, Eyewear, Eyewear. Yeah, someone on the Dice Tower Cruise had them, and I liked them, and I asked them about them. And so, yeah, I like matching my frames with my ties if I can. This matches exactly, actually. It's a famous painting. So, but is there a niche or personal preference theme you'd like to see represent more in upcoming board games? Not particularly. There's so many games out there now. I just did a video on that. You seem like you'd be a Murder, She Wrote fan. I never watched it, actually. I think I've seen bits and pieces of it. But so, no, I've never seen it. Any place other than BGG to buy promos? Well, you can if you want to back the Dice Tower still. By going to Dicetowerkickstarter.com, and you can still jump in on our Kickstarter and back it if you want to. That's a place to buy promos, but not many other places. I have seen more and more board game people complaining about X game is too long, the same game they were praising 5 to 10 years ago. Is it taste that has changed or is attention span that is smaller? Well, I think there's a mix of things. I think one, we realize that the same experience doesn't have to be as long. When you play like a 2-hour game and you realize, wow, these 8, 9, 10-hour games, they were fun back in the day, but you can get that almost that same amount of fun in a shorter period of time. 2, we're all getting older, and you find that you don't have the free time necessarily to dedicate a whole hour to a day. And yeah, our tastes change, so that's how that works. Is Columbus a hot spot for gaming? Yes. Does the gathering of your friends take place there? No, it takes place in Niagara Falls. How do people get invited? You have to figure that out on your own. I don't know. Hotspot, Columbus has the CABS, the Columbus Area Board Game Society, which I believe meets weekly and has hundreds and hundreds of members. So I would consider that a hotspot. Definitely Dallas is a hotspot. Is there a way to chat with attendees at Dice Tower East 2024? I believe you can do that in our Dice Tower Discord. There's probably a Discord place to do that, or in the Facebook group for Dice Tower East. Do you want to go to a soccer game? Is it wrong to organize an event outside the convention? I don't have a problem with it. Mike Howard just answered the same thing. And then Loopy gave the link. All right, well, there you go. The new podcast definitely feels very fresh, and I love Julie's perspective things. It's just similar in the sense that you talk about games and do segments as opposed to an interview show. Well, I don't know if this is maybe not much of a secret. I hate doing interviews. I just don't find them to be that interesting. I do them occasionally, and sometimes interviews are fun. but I just like talking about games. Interviews also vary wildly between person to person. Some are fantastic and interesting, and some are, I like to sit and argue and talk about games and have a good time about game stuff. How do you have so many pairs of glasses? Well, they're not actually pairs. This is called, they are magnetic, so you just put them on top of the glasses like this, which saves you a lot of money because otherwise I'd be super broke. Now I just have to buy one pair of glasses and then buy the tops. Would I rather visit IGN or IGA? The International Groceries of America? I used to work in an IGA, so obviously IGA. You once mentioned that R&R Games did not stand for rest and relaxation, but the owner would not tell you what it stands for. Did you ever find out? No, and as far as I know, no one ever has. They said they have this grandiose prize for anyone who does. I know I've sent in the most answers, although I've given up on that like a decade ago. I just guessed so many things. Here, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find some of my answers. Roam and roll seems like something I would have said. Oh, I know I said rest and rest. Okay, I can't find that either. Am I in the right email? I am. What would I have said? Relaxation and rest. Roll and write. Did I say that one? Let me see if I can pull it up here. Rejuvenation and recharging, refit and refuel, refuel and refit, referee and religion, races and rats, right and ready, Rex and Rome, Romulus and Remus, Rome and Roma, rafts and rims, right and retirement, retirement and relaxation, rest and retirement, retirement and retribution. Okay, let's see what else I guessed. I guessed a whole lot. Right and rights, rich and richer, richer and richest, Ron and Rhonda, Remus and Regan, Riffs and Rivers, Rad and Righteous, Roof and Red, Red and Red, Red and Roof, Robots and Ronin, Ronin and Robots. What else did I guess? There is Rats and Rest, Religion and Riots, Ramifications and Revelations, Wright and Ronnie, Ronald and Reagan, Rafters and Riches. I got a lot of emails here, so there's ridicule and razzing, rhyme and reason, reason and rhyme, rats and rickets, rent and reality, reality and riddles, riddles and reality, rushing and rashes, rush and real, real and rush. I guessed riddles and riddles, rewards and reviews, reviews and rewards, ridiculous and rewarding, rewarding, ridiculed and reviled, ransom and rewards, rewards and ransom, risk and roamer, reaching and rising, realization and reawakening. I'm starting to really stretch here. Rock and roll, roll and rock, rocking and rolling, rocking and rolling without the G's, Robins and Rottweilers. Starting to run out of stuff here. I did right and wrong with an R, and wrong and right. Riddles and realization. Let's see, Rebecca and Rose. I did a bunch of names then. Rufus and Ruth, Robbie and Ricky. Rumors and riddles, righteousness and rewards, real and real. And then I did all the different spellings of real and real. Righteousness and rags. Okay, right and reft. I was really, okay. Anyhow, this is probably the most boring part of the Q&A ever. Anyway, he said I've gotten closer than anyone, but I don't even know what that means. So, because I've guessed hundreds of different ones. Anyhow, what do you think will be the hot new game at Gen Con? Give me another month before I tell you that because I don't know necessarily. Why isn't there a review of Robin Hood Sheriff of Nottingham game yet? Are you talking about the Disney-esque one? I've never got a copy of it. Let's see. Hey, Janine, good to hear from you. Have you figured out any other good games to play if you're blind? Um, Again, yeah, this is a question that that almost is best answered by another blind person because I haven't actually, like I wouldn't know best to test them out. But this is a question I would ask in a Facebook group and see what other people would have ideas on there. Stone crabs are available to order on Goldbelly. Whew, you rich. Any other South Floridian foods one should seek out and order? Well, obviously, key lime is our thing that you should order. What's the best board game accessory you've ever bought? I know I've talked about this before, but I don't remember. It might be a set of poker chips, maybe? Is there any way you can trade our Dice Tower promos? There might be. Maybe people in the group would know. I don't know off the top of my head. Are you satisfied with the current format of the podcast? You are known for always looking to improve whatever you're a part of, and I was wondering if this is the formula that is here to stay. It's here to stay for now. But I mean, yeah, I always go through and think about things and say, hey, maybe this would be better if we did it this way. What fun stuff did I play at Board Game Geek Spring? Well, I'm going to save all that for a blog, which I've recorded, and we'll be posting later this week. So you'll be able to see the games, a lot of the games that I played there. I'll give you this heads up, though. There's a game coming from Captain Games called Duck and Cover, and it is ridiculously stupid, and I love it. Do you think a schedule could be posted regularly? A schedule, you mean of... We have a schedule that goes up of our live stuff normally. I don't know if one went up this week, and that would be on Joey, who is in chat, so I'm talking to him directly. But maybe it went up. Keep an eye out for that on the YouTube channel. I moved to a small city. How do you suggest I start a local board game community? Well, this is definitely a much, much longer answer, and people ask this all the time. But you're just going to have to go out and do it. You got to do the legwork. You got to find a local game store, start a meetup group, go to Facebook, hunt people down, look on Board Game Geek, hunt for other people. I can't give you any sort of things that will tell you what to do. I just know it can be done. Let's see here. Have you ever played a campaign game so difficult that you couldn't complete the first scenario? I don't know. That's true. What would have you couldn't beat the first scenario? Robinson Crusoe? I don't know. Nice to meet you last week at BGG. We were the couple playing Combat at 2 players. You're right. Much better experience at 3. Yeah, I wonder if that might be one where if you play with 2 players, you should play with 6 discs, maybe. I don't know. Now people are guessing the R&Rs. Dice Tower reviews often come out later than other people's. What's the reason for that? Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Now, our reviews come out after the previews on Kickstarter for sure, right? So, I don't know. Let's look here to we'll go to Board Game Geek, and we'll look at the hotness here. So we'll look for a game that's actually out. So let's see here. Here's Slay the Spire. So Slay the Spire, the board game, that's a pretty hot new game. So we'll look at the reviews of this one. So we'll look at all the text reviews. And a couple came out a month ago, and then one came out 2 years ago. So, and then one came out 14 days ago. Then we'll look at the video reviews. There's 17 of those. And 5 days ago, 10 days ago, 11 days ago, 12 days ago, 21 days. Ours came out 23 days ago. And then there was a couple that came out a month ago, but then the rest of these, a year, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. That's because they were all previews. So that's one reason we don't. I mean, Mark Street does previews on our channel, but the previews aren't really reviews. So we review the games when they come out. We also we have a gazillion games coming in, and I try to make our reviews as good as we can. So I have pulled back here. I mean, we used to, new game, rush and get it out. And we still try to move them along as quickly as we can because, you want to review them when they come out. But it's not necessarily a rush to get out there first. We just want to make sure our review is good. That's why. I don't think we're particularly late. We often review games that no one else on earth has reviewed. That I'm always kind of a little proud of. Like if you go look at many of the games that I've reviewed, I'm the only person who's ever reviewed them, which is, maybe not good for the game. They need to have more people review it, but we're trying to cover as much as we can. The game sharing, the same story, but implement with different game mechanisms, or I don't know. I see. You asked this and it came out reverse order. Hi, Tom. How would you personally prefer world building in games? Going beyond the industry convention, art and theme, and design and development into a broader design world with multiple series for the game sharing the same story, but implement with different game mechanisms. Do you believe each game is going, okay, wow. All right, that's a... What? Hang on. Do I like world building in games? Yes. Do you mean spreading the world from game to game? I don't mind as long as it's not distracting. Scythe and Expeditions, same world. The Tempest world. Then there's worlds that, they're in the same world, but are they? Like Ryan Lockett stuff sometimes. I think he says all stuff's in the same universe, but okay. I don't know. I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me too much. Igloo Pop would work for blind people, yeah, but you would still have to grab them before other people. You're still grabbing and sticking things in. If you had to move to another state, do you know which one it would be? I do not. Oh, my favorite upgrade, says Bruce, are the pieces and architects of the West Kingdom. The marble bits are fantastic. They are fantastic. Those are great marble pieces. Thank you. Is Piraten Billiards worth the price? No. I'll say it straight up. It's only worth the price if you're going to play it all the time. It's worth the price for us because we put it in Dice Tower Library at Dice Tower East and people walk by and play it, and we'll get 50 plays over the weekend. But is it worth playing for you all? I don't think so. Let's see here. Do you think that online board game platforms stop people buying the games they now get access playing in? No. No. Playing games online, there's not a single shred of proof out there that it stops people from buying the actual physical games. Every publisher I talked to said it sells more of their games by doing so. What are your thoughts on regenerative AI? I don't know a lot about this. But if I lose a limb, you better bet I'm using regenerative AI to grow that hand back. Cyborg hands, yes, yes. I would lose I wouldn't be able to caress the cheek of a grandbaby, but they would know they have a cyborg grandfather protecting them. Now you're being more specific. You're a fairly tech-savvy person. What are your thoughts on regenerative AI such as ChatGPT? I would not use ChatGPT to grow my hand back because it would be weird. All right, let's see. Given how many giant boxes are delivered to your offices, you're a UPS FedEx guy, an honorary Dice Tower member, you would think, but These guys seem to change all the time. Now, I will say this. In this neighborhood where we are, our mail lady is the same since we moved in here. So that's fantastic. So, yes, she can be part of the Dice Tower. Can we make game requests on District? I'm going to let Brian Drake answer that one. He would know more about it than myself. Would I consider a top 10 adventure narrative games for families? That would be interesting for sure. That'd be something we might do in the future. Do you want the Dice Tower to continue to grow, staff location, etc.? You feel in a great place? I feel we're in a great place. I'm not saying I don't want us to grow, but I'm never seeking to grow necessarily. I'm just trying to do what we can do best we can, and sometimes grow comes out of that. Do you think Fearsome 4 still holds up? I do. I don't think it's like amazingly holding up, but I think there's pretty good. I love the various intro theme songs. Several of them are riffs on other popular soundtracks or songs. Have you ever been asked to remove or change your theme song from a video? No, because they are legally distinct. Do you tend to shy away from reviewing games with hefty rule books? Indeed, indeed. How good or bad is my idea to create a board game geocache stocked with tiny games? Do you have a favorite $5 or $10 game you think would work well for this purpose? No, not off the top of my head. Just a small little game. Packle games would be good, right, from the Packle Game Company. But I don't know if that's good or bad. I've never done geocaching. Did you ever solidify games? I'm assuming you mean rules. You did say it. I'll change it. Watch this. Did you ever solidify rules for that ping pong dexterity game you like? Yes, Chris did. So they're done. Mike Delisio says to Bruce, stop trying to make Fearsome 4s happen. You're living in the past, man. Well, now I've changed my mind. Fearsome 4s is super hot, and you should check it out at Dice Tower East because it's in the library, and it will stay there till the day Mike Delisio dies, in which case I'm adding a second copy. Let's see here. After seeing the Manifest Destiny board game, have you read the comic now? You know what? No, and I'll tell you why. Because Hoopla, I guess my library card ran out, so Hoopla stopped working for me. So I need to go to the library to get a library card. I haven't done that in a long time, so I'm going to have to go back there and get a library card just to use Hoopla. Did you jump into the TCG rabbit hole again because of Star Wars Unlimited? Well, I mean, I got into Star Wars Unlimited, but I'm not like buying every TCG trading card game in sight. No, I just play Star Wars Unlimited. That's it. We put games in our neighborhood's free little libraries, like the book libraries. That's a good idea. What did you think of Harmonies? I have not played Harmonies yet. It was here in the Dice Tower Studios, and now 'tis gone. But I suspect I'll see it in a couple weeks, so I'll try to play it then. I think you can register for one online. Oh, that's probably true. I'll have to look that up. I'll add it to my list of things to do. And then when my wife gives me something important to do, I'll be like, now I must do a library card. Mike Heller says, Hoopla is the bestest. I've been catching up on comics that I never finished from the 90s. I agree. It is. Hoopla is great. If you've never used Hoopla, folks, it's funny because Hoopla is there to use libraries. You can watch videos on Hoopla. It's really handy. But for graphic novels, 'tis the best. It's an app that you can get on you use your library card, and you can borrow a certain number of things a month, and you just pull them up and read them. It's really, really great. All right. Wow, I think I've caught up on questions. Fantastic. Let's see. Did I miss questions? I know. Sometimes I skip over questions, folks, but go ahead. That doesn't mean I hate your question. It means I'm answering other questions. Well, since no one is there, let's see what I can talk about. I said I watched Mad Max last night, so that was good. eating a pineapple snowy. And, good, back to questions. Let's see. Literally just bought Pack of Games Set 3. So far, so fun. Well, so far I've played 4 of the games from Pack of Games 3. Just played one of them yesterday, 2 of them yesterday, because I played one of them like 7 times now, which is clearly the best in that lot so far. We'll see if it continues to stand head and shoulders. So far, of the 4 I played, and I'm being vague on this on purpose, but I played 4. 1 is fantastic. 2 I played. 1 is very good. 1 is good, and 1 is meh, which is kind of where I would stand usually with these pack of games. It's kind of where they're going to be at. How nice was Jerry when you met him for dinner at BGG Spring? I think, folks, if you're looking for a good podcast that talks about games, but other stuff, like they just shoot the breeze and talk about whatever. I can only think of one podcast that does that well, and that would be Board Game Snobs. Even though I've never listened to them, but I'm sure they're good. Okay. What is the volume of the Caspian Sea? We actually had a discussion about the Caspian Sea yesterday in my family as we talked about large bodies of water and whether they were seas or lakes. Have you ever been to Japan? I was in Japan for a day, so I cannot use that. I flew from Korea to Japan to change my visa. My experience was not amazing, but it was not because of Japan. It was because I was dealing with government, and I stayed at a hostel because I needed to save money. And so I've been to Japan, but I don't think it counts. I have no favorite thing about the country because, again, I didn't see much of it at all. I mean, I flew into the airport, rode the subway, walked to the hostel, stayed at the hostel, was a little nervous at staying at hostels, still nervous about staying at hostels, went directly back to the subway, went to the embassy, sat in the embassy all day, took a break, ate lunch at a Subway, went directly from the embassy back to the airport and flew out. So not much more I can tell you there. Did I watch the Survivor final? I didn't even watch the Survivor beginning. I usually wait till the seasons are done and then rewatch them at the end. I kind of binge watch Survivors. I just find them interesting. But like not interesting. They're definitely a thing I watch out of the corner of my eye. Tom, I don't have access to computers, so I do all my stuff on my phone. I find GameFound really awkward to use the Pledge Manager, not like Backer or others. It seems simple. I would not know. I try not to use my phone for anything computer-wise like that. I always use a computer, so I'm not the best person to ask. Did you play any text adventures in your Ute? I did, but I wouldn't remember the names of any of them. Agree or disagree? Top 10 list should exclude popular, super well-known games that we hear about all the time, like games that, like Root, Spirit Island Magic, etc., because they make the list less interesting. I so strongly disagree with that it's not a top 10 list. If it's a top 10 list, except for the games that should be here, then it's not interesting at all. Now, I get it. You hear the same games often, which is why I try to shake up and change different things and why I have multiple people. But it would be ridiculous to say this is a top 10 list, but not really. When you went to China, did you ever find a game you could only find in China that you thought maybe this should be a Dice Tower Essential? Yes. And that's all I'll say about that. Our local library is about 70 board games. Our town is only 800 people. That's a good ratio. Have you discovered games that have already been out for a few years? Oh yeah, that happens often. Do you watch Jeopardy? I don't watch Jeopardy very often. I find Jeopardy to be okay. When will be the next Delicio sighting at Dice Headquarters? The Summer Spectacular. Come back for it. Will you have live shows at Gen Con this year? Well, we have one live show, the Dice Tower Awards. Now, it is sold out, but A, keep an eye because people might get a refund on a ticket, and B, get some generic tickets. I can almost guarantee you that if you get generic tickets, you will be able to get in, unless we have like hundreds of people doing it. There's going to be space. Let's see here. My favorite Miyazaki film, Spirited Away. People are now saying Zork a lot. Any programs that you see on the History Channel? Is the History Channel a streaming thing? I haven't had cable for years, folks. I've seen History Channel programs, but I don't keep track of what comes out on which channel. Sit down at a video from a Mega Game back. Have you ever attended one of those? Well, twice. I have a video up on a Mega Game. I did one from I forget what it was called. It was about the rebellion of America against the Brits in '76. So I recorded it. I watched almost the whole thing. I went around and recorded bits and pieces of it. I made a whole video on it. And I was part of a 3 or 4 hour one at Dice Tower Convention back in 18, maybe 17 or 18 or 19. I don't know what year it was. And that was a ton of fun. I would love to be in one. In fact, they had one at Board Game Geek Spring that I 100% would have joined, except I had already made plans to do a couple other things. So that was kind of a bummer because I thought, now I finally have a chance to do it. Well, maybe next time. If there's ever one in the South Florida area and someone lets me know about it ahead of time and it doesn't interfere with like cons or something else, it's like a day thing, I would get together a few of the guys here and we'd go to it. And we would rock at it. We would break world records at being like the first team to be eliminated or something like that. But it would be fun. Are there any board game personalities you still haven't met and would love to say hi to? You! I mean, really, I like meeting board game personalities, sure, like designers and publishers, and that's really cool. But I cannot emphasize it much. I like meeting just people who like games. That's fun. It's fun for me to do that. Any suggestions for affordable dual-purpose games table, dining table? We have limited space in our house, and setting up, taking down can be a pain. Well, the two best ones are game toppers for price, which is a game thing you put on top of your table, and then the all-play tables that we have. These are very affordable. I have one at my house, which is from Rathskeller's, which is a beautiful, nice table that goes back and forth, but that is not affordable by any means. Do you play any tabletop role-playing games? I do. We do one here on the channel. Look up our 4 Coins series here, and I'm playing it with the gang here. IKEA has a nice one with fold-down size. Fits behind a couch. Well, there you go. There's a set of games which only is released in China, and there are 9 9-card games selling only for $1 per game. Yeah. I just always find it, I'm not a big fan of artificial limitations on games. Like, oh, this game has only 9 cards. But, man, a 10th card would have made the game better. Nope, the rule was 9 cards. I saw you guys in Essen. Was too shy to approach you? Nah, never be too shy. Just come talk to us. We are ordinary folks, less than others. Are the board game backgrounds boxes that your show display in the background good recommended games or just displays of interesting cover art? Well, like for example, this one here is from our sponsor All Play, which is why they're in the background. I think they are both good cover art and I think they are good games. And sometimes you'll see games in the background that are there, but that's mostly for its cover art and or a good game. I didn't answer that question at all. Alrighty. Kind of miss those old decoder discs that went with old PC games to prevent piracy. I don't miss those at all. What is wrong with you, Mike? Why would you miss those? Zach says, I played Tammany Hall for the first time last night. Have you played it? What are your thoughts? And that, Zach, is why we have the Dice Tower channel with our reviews. I have reviewed Tammany Hall, and you can check out my full thoughts in that review. Spoiler, I like it. Now people are just talking about Infocom games. Is there any game artwork you've considered resizing to hang on the wall? Yes, and I have done it. How are my kids? Excellent. Grandkids? Excellent. Anything exciting happening with the family? My grandson had his birthday a couple days ago. My daughter has graduated, so she's starting a new job in marketing soon. I got a daughter who's about to leave 11th grade and start her senior year, so there's that. I got a daughter who's a junior in college, so there's also that. So yeah, but I don't know what other exciting things. I'm cool with non-exciting events in my family. I recently became a dad and very much looking forward to one day playing a game with my son. What was the first board game you remember playing with your children? I don't remember most of the games I played with my children. I remember playing Yummy with Melody, but I don't remember most of them, and it doesn't really matter. You just play games with kids. Don't worry about it. And don't worry if you play games with your son and he doesn't love board games. That's okay. You'll find something that you can do together. Are there any crunchier Brandon Sanderson books? Couldn't get on with Reckoners or Mistborn? Well, I mean, the Oathsworn Way of Kings series, or Way of Kings, I think it's called Way of Kings series. I always forget. Anyway, that series, that's crunchy. And if you think that's not crunchy enough, then you're probably not a fan of him. Reckoners is definitely young adult. Mistborn is more than that, but yeah. Do you know the average age demographic that's watching Dice Tower? I don't know what it is off the top of my head right now, but it's usually in the 30s. What's the best thing you've purchased from a Facebook targeted ad? I almost want to say nothing, but it can't be true. I'd have to think about it for a while. UK Games Expo is happening this week. I hope everybody who's going to that has a fantastic time. People are saying nice words. Thank you. Any games you don't like but are very impressed with? Design that is impressive, innovative, but wasn't as fun as you were hoping. Well, there's a whole ton of those kind of games. I mean, I think that way about Brass and games like that they're impressive games. I think they're well designed, and I don't want to play them at all. Every 18xx game is that way for me. I think they're awesomely cool designed, but I don't want to play them. They're not necessarily fun for me. Stormlight Archive, says Mike. That's correct. I don't know why I can never remember that. That's the series you should read from Brandon Sanderson. Do you and Jason ever talk about his sealed collection of games, especially after the Drowning in Games video just came out? Sure, but I've given up on that. I remember in 2020, Jason called me and was like, I'm bored. I'm like, Jason, I know we're all stuck at home. I said, here is your chance to sort out, open, go through your game collection. And a couple months later, he called me. I said, have you done it? And he's like, no. I said, if you don't do it this year, you will never do it. This is your one best shot. So if he didn't do it in 2020, it ain't ever going to happen. Let's see here. I would argue that tabletoppers have gotten a bit too pricey. A 3x3 starts at $500 now. Yeah, but what's the alternative? Where are you finding super cheap tables? I don't know. I just don't think affordable gaming table is one of those white tables from Costco. Just buy it and play a game on it. That's a gaming table. Do you still keep caffeinated root beer around? I have some caffeinated drinks here, but I try not to drink them very often. Pete says, I got Tom's shark tie from a targeted ad. Yes, and I appreciate the tie, but also want to point out, not the best quality tie I've ever gotten. Or even in the top 90% of quality ties. Let's see here. Oh, now people are saying your age. I get it, all right? People just ask me, and I'm not saying that's all that who watches Dice Tower. Lots of people watch Dice Tower. Any good podcasts you're listening to lately? I've been jumping around. I've been listening to one right now that's talking about Baldur's Gate 3, since that's the video game I'm sinking most of my time into. Thank you for all the nice things that people are saying about our videos. Game Trace is attempting the cheap table with game tables. Is that a thing? I've not heard of it. You often mentioned Cutthroat Ticket to Ride. Can you elaborate, please? Well, in many versions of Ticket to Ride, you're trying to complete a route, and I'm going to cut you right off at the throat. I'm going to look where your route goes, and I might build a connection there just to stop you from connecting. That's Cutthroat. Whew! You never played that way? You are in the nice zone for sure. Hot dogs or hamburgers? Well, I know this from yesterday since we had a cookout for Memorial Day, and I chose a hamburger. Now, what was harder was I was offered a hot dog, a bratwurst, or a hamburger. That was tricky. Nah, I don't want the hot dog. That's out of this situation. Like, I will almost never pick a hot dog over a hamburger, but occasionally I'll pick a hot dog, like a Chicago dog or something, and you're like, ooh, a chili dog. Those are really good, right? And so you think about that, but 9 times out of 10, I want a burger with all the fixings. But when you offer a bratwurst compared to a burger, it's a much tougher choice. I'm like, well, what quality is the bratwurst? What quality is the burger? So that's trickier. Was great to see other Dice Tower folks doing Q&A recently. Yeah, we'll do them regularly-ish. How's that? So, key lime pie yesterday? I did not have key lime pie yesterday. I guess I could have, but we didn't. So, Gleason just called me a brat. What is that all about? Did Sleeping Gods Distant Skies not come with a companion app? I don't think so. Maybe it did. What are some reasons or barriers for why companion apps are not very popular? Oh, I can give you the one main reason. They're really expensive. Just keep that in mind. Melody is now talking about how she beat me and Laura because we destroyed each other viciously. That was in either India or Africa for Ticket to Ride. I've not read the Evil Librarian series, so no. We're spending a day at Disney Springs coming up. Any restaurants there you would recommend? I think my favorite restaurant there at this point is the Irish one. I don't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, but there's an Irish restaurant there, and I really like Irish food, and so I really like that. I like the Irish entertainment there. That was a very enjoyable place for us to eat. That is my spot now, Disney Springs, if I can get in. Have I ever been to Maine? I have not ever been to Maine. Yes, bratwurst. I know that's what he meant. He wasn't calling me a brat. All right, folks. Well, that is going to be it for today. So don't forget, I mentioned the Dice Tower District where you can buy and sell games. So check that out. This is not the last live thing today. We have a top 100 coming up in a couple hours where we're getting closer. I think we're at 30 to 21 today with Jason, Roy, and Wendy. So we're getting close to the top. You want to see some amazing games, check that out. And then Z with What's Happening coming out later today. So lots of cool things. I got a lot of things to do myself, so I'm going to get going here. But thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Q&A here at the Dice Tower. Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vasel.